Some would argue, ladies and gentlemen, that the issue is some folks just have the wrong username and they don't know the right password. And every time they try to get students to log on with their program, they're denied access. So then many resort to just moonlighting on the job as the delivery person. They're okay with just dropping off the information and moving on to the next topic. And then they follow the 3T method of teaching. Tell them the information, test them on the information, transfer the information into the grade book. Any moonlighters in the room today? We don't admit, I did a little bit, we had to learn the hard way, right? But when you put engagement in the driver's seat of the learning process, it becomes a powerful engine to move learning forward. What is student engagement? 30 seconds, tell someone next to you, around you, what you believe student engagement is. Student engagement is about helping students find new passions and interests and lose track of time. Formally defined, student engagement is the extent to which students are interested in, emotionally involved with, and willing to participate in the task. Major pedagogical tool, you might want to get this down. Building on what they bring is the bridge for them to buy. When you build on the strengths, attributes, and talents that students bring into the classroom, that is the bridge for them to buy into you. In addition to that, what you have. Boy, that's an issue from where we come from. Jabari, do you know how many days we have to deal with issues because he said something about him on Facebook? That doesn't happen in your district, of course, right? Talked to a teacher the other day, and he said, "Oh, Jabari, that may be good, but I have a supervisor, and we have to cover the material." And it's like some classrooms are driven by radio call letters. WHCM, welcome, where we have to cover material. When the majority of students are down the dial at WIFM, which is what's in it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, if I came in here today and gave a rambling lecture about the history of prairie dogs on the plains of Nebraska, you all would hog-tie me, grab Richard's camera, and throw it at me, right? People are me-centered first, and we know that there are standards that you have to meet. We know that there are pacing guides. We know that you should be a certain place. But we're saying that they're not necessarily mutually exclusive alternatives. Took a group picture right now, grabbed my camera, did it, printed it out, brought it back in here, showed it to each one of you. What would be the first thing that most of you all would look at? Whatever program, lesson, activity, or event they attend, people want to know, hey, how does this affect me? How can I benefit? How does this improve my lot? They loved the gaming. They loved to shoot. Some of them loved to tap on the table. You had a couple Nathans too? Right. So you got your content here when you're planning. You got the goals or outcomes there as well. And then you're using that student persona to help figure out how you're going to get there. I don't care how exciting the structure of your lesson is, nor how engaging the content is, nor how enthusiastic the delivery you give. You got to engage young people emotionally first. Many different ways to engage them emotionally. Two we'll talk about today. One is through relentlessly building and sustaining student relationships. Study was done and they asked young people, they surveyed them and said, what attribute or characteristic of effective teachers do you believe are most important? And what do you think they said more than anything else? What characteristic do you believe that they said? Caring. Anyone else? It was. They want to know that they care more than anything else. They don't want delivery people who just drop off the information. They want to know, you all said it already. After you give it to me, did I get it? And if I didn't get it, that you care enough to use your expertise, certification, and competencies to help me understand. Second point to caring, though, is not that you care about me academically, but that you care just as much about me as a person. There's a young lady who was written up in a school district we were working with, was about to lose her job, was really having a tough time. And she used our 4C process. And she said, Jabari, it probably saved my career. The 4C's is relationship building again, and we do a total workshop on it. Making sure they understand you care. Communicating with them. Communicating is important. We didn't talk enough about that. Jabari, how do I know what they do? I got so much from young people from informal conversation. Miss Ligenthal, how was your weekend? Really? How's grandma? I know she went in for surgery this weekend. Is she okay? Tell her I asked about her. Obviously, most of it was sincere, but just little things like that. And then you understand the things that mean the most to you. And I will not submit to you that everything we give to you today is going to be a magic bullet, because it does not exist, as you know. But there are things that you can do that can lessen the stress, that can make it more effective for you. Sometimes when they're watching you in the classroom, isn't it similar to them watching television? But instead of watching instead of watching television, they're watching teacher. And when if the programming is not one that they like, what do? They change the channel and find something to interest them. Is that right? One of the greatest enemies of teaching is sameness. The research says it. People seek novelty. And it's been observed in infants. I would do just about anything that I had with young people to change it up. I come in like this. When we did the games, I'm Alex Jabari Trebek, I don't know, right? So I'm the quiz master, but I changed my appearance. These little wigs, $5-10, right? Just something different. How many of you have used these things that I have in my hand, and what do we call them? No, they're number cubes. In school, they're number cubes. You all know that. Dice dice disappear. Oh, Dr. Jabari, they're number cubes? Okay, here, you can have it back. Who said dice? Yeah, they're dice. Do you mind passing them over, please? Anyone in the room used this activity before? Anyone? You've used it before? Anyone? Teacher decides a number. Give me a number between 1 and 6. 6. Okay? 6 is a number, ladies and gentlemen. One student is the what? We can't call it in the classroom, right? One student drops the number cube, right? In a random way, right? And the other student engages in the activity. I've used this with so many different, but if you could very quickly. One person at the table will designate to be the dropper. The other people will write in the names of the state. The number is 6. So Ms. Lopez is going to drop and continue to drop and continue to drop until what? Until she gets a 6. And her colleagues are going to do what? They're going to write down that fact until she gets a 6. Hold up your cards. This just happens to be what? All right, some people have remember biology 101, didn't sleep through all of it, right? Yeah, I know science teacher bias, right? With your process, how a bill becomes law. We talked about the fact that African-American young people like movement. Why not? Get them up, moving. So you're giving one to different groups. It could be a different part of the chapter. And then they have to do what? In the correct order of cell division, right? What happens? First, second, third, fourth. Now, whoever said mitosis, you have to tell us what the correct order is. Who was it? I'm teasing. I got enthused by the content. And not only that, you talked about this. Yes, when I looked in their eyes and I saw that they were engaged, that was engaging to me. The energy was in the classroom and I was on cloud 11. Of what use would the trauma surgeon be if every patient came to him or her with a clean bill of health? We know that there's some traumatic circumstances going on in some of your classrooms. But when you're willing to look at it a little differently, build on what they bring into the classroom, and sometimes it seems like there's nothing there. When you introduce some of the things that they like and make it meaningful, then that's the power. So when you go back into that classroom on Monday, whatever day you're going back into the classroom, are you going to be that delivery person? Or will you personalize the delivery in an engaging way for each one of your students?